All right, people, I am here. Um, I continue to persevere for several reasons. One, because it's imprinted upon my spirit to do so. Two, because I know that there are those who are seeking. I do it for them. I continue to do this for them. Doing it for my father. He's the one that imprinted it upon my spirit. All right. I'm also doing it to fulfill my spiritual mission. Okay. It's like breathing to me. Nevertheless, at the same time, it is hard when you don't have any support. All right, from the very people whom I'm sent here to help. Okay, I'm constantly been treated as a thing of naught. I'm constantly like just dismissed and ignored. Though this message, all of these messages, has been imprinted upon my spirit and it has to be given, okay? Like it's something that I cannot not do, all right? It's something that I must do. And while I'm doing it, I've been having to go through great periods of long suffering, okay? And with no help, and being stonewalled, and all of these things, all right? So it makes it hard to continue to get on here, when your channel is barely getting any views whatsoever. Your videos are not really getting views, okay? People are deliberately dismissing it. They won't even click on it, okay? So it's like, bro, yes, it takes a different type of strength, okay? And it don't come from me. All right, the strength that I need and depend upon comes from the one who sent me. All right, because if I depended upon my own strength, it would have broke me a long dang time ago. Okay, so the strength comes from a higher power. Okay, a higher source that I bask in. I dwell in that because it's like, damn, I like, Father, these people don't want your word. Clearly, like your servant been out here, in these deep ass waters amongst all of these sharks. All right, like like, where's my support, Father? Where's my help? All right. So anyway, that's what it's been for me, people. That is what it's been. Okay. Um, and yes, I'm very lighthearted and still joyful about this truth and giving you this truth and walking in my purpose. Okay. But yes, it sucks having to suffer, lacking many things that I want and need. Okay. Um, Hold on. So anyway, I am not trying to ramble, people. I just had to get some things, off my chest. Some things that was on my mind, and I'm instructed to keep it real with you. Okay. Now, yesterday I got on here really early in the morning, around about 9:30 or so. It was around 9:30 ish, and then today I had a lot that I had to do. Had to go to the store and get water, get some TP, and enjoy the weather. Cause today it like it's a nice day today, and so anyway, I enjoyed going on that walk and um, taking in you know the nice weather. That was really nice. You know. So now I'm here and I'm led to go ahead and bring forth the book of remembrance of Moses. Okay, so we gonna be delving into that um, on this segment of this project. Okay, this is video number 7. Okay, I'm still not sure how many more videos we're gonna have to do for this. However, I do know we're close to the end of the audio. All right, so it's just a couple of more points that the Father really wants me to focus on and hone in. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Give me just a second. Now, let's go ahead and go over here. Okay, and let's get it.
We were supposed to be righteous. We were to be the shining light upon the earth. That's why we were given the best lands. Not to be wholly wicked and shed all kinds of blood in the land. We were to be set apart from the wicked nations who were shedding blood and all of them things, being animalistic. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Now we gonna focus a little bit on this. All right. Now, um, as you heard me say in the audio, the reason for the creation of Israel. Okay. Well, Shem, um, was Shem was given the best lands. Okay, that this is in the book of Jubilees. Okay, I brung it out not too long ago in one of my videos. Okay, but you can find reference to this in the book of Jubilees, the division of the lands. Okay, the division of the earth, the inheritance of each son of Noah and all their lineages. Okay, now whether or not you believe in the Bible and or spiritual texts or whatever, it doesn't matter. There is, because the Bible is a historical record. Okay, first of all, is a historical record, and yes, it's been corrupted. We realize that. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean throw out the whole dang book as if there is nothing in it that's truth. Okay, as if there's nothing in it that you can learn. As if there's no wisdom. That's ignorance. Okay, hold on. All right. So anyway, uh this is where discernment comes in. All right, and the only way that you can get the discernment, I've went over it plenty of times. You have to humble yourself as a child, to unlearn what you think you know, especially when it's dealing with the ideology of the world that we were born in. So everything that we were taught according to this world, this system, that is what you're gonna have to let go. Okay? Because all of that was given to you by the adversary. All right? So we have to unlearn to relearn. And this is difficult to do because in order to do it, one has to subdue their ego. Okay? And most people don't want to do that. Okay? Ego is very strong upon the earth these days. Okay? No, now I don't want to talk too much, people, because I got started late. So, um, we're dealing with why Shem and then Israel, the Israelites, were given, like, the purpose of Israel. Okay, the purpose of the Israelites, because many of my brethren are mistaken. Okay, they are misunderstanding. The Most High uh, did not choose us to dominate over anybody. All right, we were just to be an example of His attributes upon the earth. We were to be a holy and righteous, pure nation. We were not to have any weapons. We were not to partake of eating any flesh and blood. We were not to shed any blood. Okay, we were to be a set apart, holy, and righteous people. All right? And we would have had the divine protection of the true and living God. All right? We would have had the favor of the true and living God. All right? Now, this is because of our free agency that we enacted to choose the true and living God. All right? When we enact our free agency to choose righteousness, to choose holiness, to choose purity, we are in one accord with the divine, with benevolence. And when that happens, there's going to be an end to evil. Evil will be cut off from the set apart people. Okay? The set apart people will be shielded by benevolence. All right? This is why evil is not all powerful. It only appears to be all powerful during a period of time, like a paradigm, as what we were born in. Okay? So this is why the world seems like it's in utter chaos and turmoil. This is why all humanity and all creation is groaning, except for the rich and wealthy. Okay? But even they are groaning and mourning. Their spirit is in turmoil. There's plenty of accounts of wealthy people offing themselves. Okay? There's only so much happiness that you can get from having a lot of money. All right? It can quickly grow old. If that's all you have, you ain't got real love. You ain't got no peace. You ain't got none of the fruits of the Spirit, because that's where it's at, people. Without the fruits of the Spirit, you're nothing. Okay? And money is only a temporary fix in its false-ass reality. All right? So this is why wealthy people, rich people are in turmoil. This is why they off themselves, because they don't have real love. They don't have any peace. And this is why somebody like me that was born in utter poverty and is refusing to bow down and worship the God of money, now that I understand these things, I have the clarity and the understanding, so why the hell would I participate in the foolery? I'm no longer going to participate in it. I'm going to follow in my spiritual mission and give you this word by the way of the Spirit. Is how I can stand and trust in the true and living God, even when I have $1.61 in my checking account. Even when I just went to the store and I seen trash bags for $4.89 or so, and I'm like, dang, man, and it said temporary reduced price. It used to be way cheaper than that. I used to be able to get freaking trash bags for $5. But anyway, nevertheless, even if it was the $5, I didn't have enough to get them. And I'm out of trash bags. I'm on my last trash bag. So, I have to make sure to fill it all the way up, before I can toss it away, So, anyway, I have to depend on the Most High for more trash bags or for funds in order to get trash bags. Okay, the sturdy ones, the heavy duty ones. This is just my life, people. Okay? This is how I live my life. Alright? I have just enough, maybe, possibly, for a bus ticket. Alright? I have $2 or so to my name. Alright? On my, PayPal that I can use, and there's $1.61 in my checking account, right? I think it's $0 on my Cash App. So, I got less than $5 to my name, but yet I got all the fruits of the Spirit. All right, so I'm not miserable in my spirit. I'm only miserable in this physical life, in this physical world. This is why I'm not happy in this world. Because this world is all about Pleasure Island. It's all about the worship and glorification of money. Okay, but that is a false god. It didn't come from my God. All right, and here I am rambling, bro. but I flow by way of the Spirit, and apparently this is how it's rallying people. All right, and we're gonna get into it because it's not even just these other nations that glorify the God of money. Okay, it wasn't. This is the end. Okay, this was the final. This was the final. What do you even call it? Um Final chance of Satan. All right, final opportunity for the kingdom of darkness to do their most. Okay, this was it. What we were born into. This was the height of their wickedness. All right, so this was prophecy. All right, and it was prophesied that we will be awakened. Okay, the people who were destroyed by the nations who set themselves up in authority, all right, the people who were destroyed by them would be awakened in the land of our captivity, and all of these things will be brought back to our remembrance, okay? And so now we know who we are. The reason that he woke us up and brought back to remembrance of who we are is because it's time up for the nations, okay? So because we were able to receive his spirit, okay, when a dove returned, all right, we are able to speak his word by way of the spirit. And during this time, all nations are in a valley of decision, okay? Now, we are demonstrating today. I have been demonstrating with my life the fruits of the Spirit. All right? I applied his living word to my life and I live it. Okay? As I speak his living word. All right? Now, Israel has abandoned its vision. All right? Moses, all right? Book of Remembrance of Moses, 1283. All right? Now, and the Lord said, starting at the time of Abraham, those upon the earth who sought to build nations and make for themselves a name were able to build large and powerful nations with strong armies. And if my people Israel had faithfully clung to the covenant that Abraham had made with me through his mother, and had they been able to become a holy nation in their own land, the conditions would have been such that my holy nation would only be seen in such a way as to not be a threat to them. Okay? But by becoming an armed nation, small in size, being in the middle of those large nations, they will be set upon continually and threatened and subjected to violence. And without their walking in the law of Jeshurun, this is the eternal law of divine love, all right, and keeping the covenant of Shabuah, which is the covenant of no bloodshed, the covenant of righteousness, all right, treating your neighbor as thyself, okay, they cannot be kept out of the conflict, all right. Without them walking in the eternal law of divine love, without them keeping the covenant of righteousness and no bloodshed, they cannot be kept out of the conflict. Okay? That means that benevolence is not going to shield wicked people who are shedding blood and doing all kinds of wickedness. Alright? And all the heathen nations see their own religions to be the principal force that ensures their victories over their enemies. And the center of their religions is seen in their temples, which are built to empower their gods so they can find dominance. Now, whether or not you believe in spirits such as evil spirits, demonic spirits, and righteous spirits, okay? Certain spirits are summoned, okay, via bloodshed. All right? So wicked people understand that in order for them to get supernatural power, okay, it's supernatural because it's beyond human, okay? It comes from the demonic realm, though, when they are getting this power by shedding blood, okay? Blood sacrifice summons these demons, these evil spirits, okay? This is how they get their dominance. This is how they get their power. Alright, they're influenced by these demonic ass spirits, okay, that are helping them. Okay? That's how they rule and reign. Through bloodshed. Okay? Through wickedness. Through torture. Alright? Because this is how negative energy feeds. Alright? But positive energy feeds on righteousness. Alright? And is more powerful because the evil energy does not have power over righteous energy. Alright? Only did for a period of time when righteousness was put to sleep upon the earth. And Satan was allotted his time. Alright? Now, we're going to get into it, people. Alright? Verse 86. And with the loss of the tabernacle, and with the coming of a temple in Israel, the enemies of righteousness will continually seek earnestly to bring them into subjugation. Okay? Because they will be seen as rivals. And had they walked in the way that Abraham walked, peaceably upon the land, and did not arm themselves, and had no slaves, they would have set the practice of peace with all those other inhabitants of the land by their example. Okay, with all those other inhabitants of the land by their example, not our dictatorship, okay, not our dominance, all right, but our action, our example, all right, just being righteous, all right, not arming ourselves, not having slaves. I need water. Our feet shouted in peace. Alright? The peacemakers. Okay? The meek. The humble. Alright? People are misunderstanding what it means to be humble. It doesn't mean we gotta humble to the ideology of this world. We ain't gotta humble down to that. No, we have to humble ourselves to the spirit of truth. Okay? Now, with all those other inhabitants of the land by their example, and those in all the regions round about would have been subjected to pay taxes to others from time to time. Alright, but they would not have been overcome and sent into exile. Alright? And at this time, the people of Israel are desiring that I should not rule over them. And they want to have a king and a temple like all the heathen nations. And when they commit the sins of the nations, they must be subject to the plagues of the nations. Okay? Our Father did not want this for us. Okay? He wanted us to be the example so that other nations can say, they don't do all of this that we're doing, and they're protected by their God. So we shouldn't have to do all of this either. And as we get into more of this later, people, you're gonna see that our God accepts anyone of any nation that wants to worship our God. Okay? Yes, you're able to come in amongst us, all right, and be one of us. You don't have to be wicked, all right. You don't have to do that. All right, you don't have to be subjected to the plagues of the nations who shed blood and live like heathens. Okay? All right, now. And in all these things, the vision of Israel cannot be sustained here in their present homeland. And I have prepared a place for them across the great sea. And descendants of Melchizedek have I led there. And they are yet to this day a pure and undefiled people who walk in righteousness, and they are faithful to keep Shabuah. Okay? That is righteousness, holiness. Okay? The eternal law. All right? The covenant. All right? No bloodshed. That their father Melchizedek established upon the very mountain that lies just beyond the sea Kinnereth. Now, and at this present time, powerful nations are rising, which will take the people of Shiloh and the surrounding areas into exile. Therefore, it is expedient that the remnant of Jacob in the new land build a bulwark to preserve the vision of Israel. Okay? Now, clearly is, and I don't know for sure. I'm not going to pretend to know for sure. This says the new land. I do know that America is the old world. It is the true old world. Okay? So I'm thinking that this is talking about across the, when it said across the Great Sea, could be talking about over there in Africa. All right? And it kind of lines up to the prophecy about it coming from the west, from the east back over to the west. Okay? How the dove returned over here to the Americas. All right? So, I don't know. I have to, check on that later. Nevertheless, you see that it's really both lands were used by the Most High God, all right, over there in Africa, okay, and over here in what the other nations consider to be the New World, all right. Now, that's all we're going to get of this part right here. We need to go to chapter 8. We need to go to about 106. Oops, I went too far. Okay. Alright. Now, when Moses and his family arrived in Egypt, it took some time and explanation for the Hebrew people to understand what he was intending to do, and many of them had no desire to make a covenant with the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But with others, the idea penetrated their heart to the center, and they were filled with new hope. Okay? I would have been one of these. Okay? I would have been one of these. These days, the majority of our people are one of these. The one of many of them, they have no desire to make a true covenant with our God. All right? And of our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? Let's continue. All right? And this was startling to me. Like it was startling to me. All right? When I went back and I began reading the Bible for myself, I think this was back in like 2016 or so. Definitely by 2017, I was studying for myself. Okay, it flabbergasted me the stiff neck, the stiff neck people. Like I'm like, damn, like how can you do this when he just delivered you from Egypt and you turn around and you already disobeying? Well, you're like murmuring. You're like, I just couldn't understand it. It was startling to me. Okay, as I was reading it, I'm like, damn, I wanted to serve the true and living God. As I was reading it, I'm like, I want to serve the true and living God. Okay, but I was just floored at how the Israelites kept disobeying, kept doing their own thing, refused to listen to the true and living God. So I was different. All right, it was startling to me, as I had supposed they all would have a longing to return to their ancient ways of righteousness, to find the dignity that it would bring them. And I saw that there were two kinds of minds that considered Moses, and two kinds of ears that heard him. One eagerly anticipated the cessation. Let's make sure I'm saying that right. Cessation.
Cessation.
Yeah, cessation, the fact or process of ending or being brought to an end. Okay. Okay, yeah, the cessation of their hard labor. All right. One eagerly anticipated the cessation of their hard labor. Many of my brethren, they assume that this is me. Okay? They assume that's what it is, bro. Like, oh my God. They assume that I just don't want to labor hard. But this is a different type of work that's still hard labor. Even though it flows easily, it was designed for me. Okay, I was created to do this. All right. Nevertheless, I still got to put in time, energy, and effort. Okay, it's like I don't understand why you want to demote spiritual work as if it's less valuable or less important than physical work for a false god. Like why would I want to do physical work for a false god when I can do this spiritual work for the real, true, and living God? All right, and it's what's been encoded and printed upon my spirit. Like, it's crazy to me, but this is what they think that I'm doing this for, so that I don't have to do hard labor. Like, that's what they think. But clearly, the other yearned for the vision of Israel to come into fruition, so that they could be a holy nation, according to that which had come down to them, as spoken of by their fathers. Okay? This is me. Now, you can claim that, this is me all you want. But clearly, I'm still working. I'm still laboring. Okay? Hold on. We're gonna put an end to this, bro. They be doing the most. Alright? This is from Jacob chapter 5. And the Lord of the vineyard said unto them, us, go to and labor in the vineyard with your might. For behold, this is the last time that I shall nourish my vineyard, for the end is nigh at hand, and the season speedily cometh. And if you labor with your might with me, you shall have joy in the fruit which I shall lay up unto myself against a time which will soon come. And it came to pass that the servants did go and labor with their might, and the Lord of the vineyard labored also with us, and they did obey. We are obeying the commandments of the Lord of the vineyard in all things. I am still celibate. I still refrain from eating flesh and blood. I am very mindful of how I treat everyone, including my kitty, my cat. Yes, I treat him how I would want to be treated if I was a cat. Okay? I give out of my own poverty when I'm asked. Okay? I live what I speak. Therefore, I am keeping his commandments. All right? In all things. Okay? Now, and there began to be the natural fruit again in the vineyard, and the natural branches began to grow and thrive exceedingly. And the wild branches began to be plucked off and to be cast away. All right? Haven't people just been dropping like flies left and right? All right, your queen is gone. All right, there's a whole bunch of so-called celebrities that's been passing away. All right, a whole bunch of so-called prominent people been passing away left and right. Okay, and they did keep the root and the top thereof equal, according to the strength thereof. And thus they labored. Okay, thus we are laboring. I am laboring, all right, with all diligence, according to the commandments of the Lord of the vineyard. Even unto the bad has been cast away out of the vineyard. And the Lord has preserved unto himself that the trees have become again the natural fruit. And they became like unto one body, and the fruits were equal. And the Lord of the vineyard had preserved unto himself the natural fruit, which was most precious unto him from the beginning. All right? And it came to pass that when the Lord of the vineyard saw that his fruit was good, and that his vineyard was no more corrupt, he called up his servants and said to them, Behold, for this last time we have nourished my vineyard, and thou beholdest that I have done according to my will, and I have preserved a natural fruit that is good, even like as it was in the beginning. And blessed art thou, blessed am I, that I'm doing this work by the way of the Spirit, even though you continuously spit on it. Those of you that keep putting your mouth on me, claiming that I'm not laboring, claiming that I am lazy. All right? You keep spitting on what the Father has given me to do upon the earth. But I am blessed, for because I have been diligent in laboring with him in his vineyard, and I have kept his commandments, and I have brought unto him again the natural fruit, that his vineyard is no more corrupted, and the bad is cast away. Behold, I shall have joy with him because of the fruit of my vineyard, of his vineyard. Okay? And the fruit that I'm producing, okay, for his vineyard. For behold, for a long time will I lay up the fruit of my vineyard unto my own self against the season which is soon approaching. Okay? So those of us has been long suffering and all of these things, this connects to that one scripture. Hold on. Oh, see? Hold on, pull this up because that's already up. Keyword trust. Okay. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. Okay? So the time that's coming, it's the righteous that's going to be taken care of and nourished. Okay, we didn't put our trust and faith in riches. We didn't put our trust and faith in money because we understand that money is a false god. But many people want to keep holding on to money. And so they labor for money. Okay? They labor for riches. They labor for money. They are worshiping a false god of money. Okay? Yes, it's been enforced upon the earth. We realize that. I realize that, and my God realizes that. Okay? Nevertheless, it does not negate your heart condition. Okay? It does not negate your mentality. Okay? You're not going to have an excuse. You're not going to be able to use it as an excuse to say, well, this was forced on me, so I felt the need to force it on everybody, on others. Okay? Like, you cannot have that mentality because that is not a righteous mentality. All right? Now, the scripture clearly tells you to labor not to be rich. But now the Gentiles do that anyway because they are concerned about how they're going to take care of themselves and all of these things. Okay? But our God tells us we don't have to do this. All right? Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness. All right? And allow our God to supply our needs. Okay? This is what I'm doing. People want to be mad at me for applying the living word to my life. Okay? I don't trust in the false god of money. I trust in the true and living God. All right? Now, so, we putting this to rest. All right? It's not that I don't want to labor, because I am laboring. All right? It's the fact that I yearn for the vision of Israel to come into fruition so that we can be a holy nation according to that which had come down to us as spoken of by our fathers. And some supported Moses for one reason and some for another. Okay? And you will see that this division will follow Israel all during the course of the earth. Some will want the vision of Israel for vital service to Anaki said, okay? And some will desire it so they can find dominance over others and find the satisfaction of possessions, okay? Clearly, this ain't me. So clearly, it's not that I seek to cease from this hard labor. Okay? Because if that was the case, then I would also seek to find dominance over others so that I don't have to work for my substance. I can just take it from others. Arm myself and just go take it from others. Okay? Having the satisfaction of possessions. That ain't my mentality. That ain't my heart condition. And I am sick and tired of people trying to tell me where my heart condition is, where my mentality is. Okay? My actions don't line up to what they're saying about me. My life don't line up to what they say about me. All right? My actions are lining up to the fact that I want the vision of Israel for vital service to Anaki said. That's the true and living God. That is benevolence, divine love, compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy. This is what I am fueled by, not money. All right? Now we're done with chapter 8. And we're going to go back to chapter 12. And we need to go down to about 61. Alright. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of the reason why the Father sends prophets, okay? But I don't want to go too deep. Okay, we'll just start here in verse 60. All right, and the people from Beth Peor were intermingled in a ring around the holy cities together with non-Israelites. And because of this, they did not show their practices outwardly that they learned in Beth Peor, but they privately practiced their evil traditions, and in this way they had an increasing influence in the social councils in the holy nation, and they began to be numerous in the councils. And it was at this time that Jonah was active to push back against their influence, and he was the first prophet in Israel. And it was because of this that the Lord had begun to send prophets among the people of Israel to preach repentance and call the people to remembrance of their pathway back to Eden. And the prophets, one by one, began to shoulder the burden of the sins of the people, and many times were the only ones to look after the vision of Israel. And they each one in their turn expressed abhorrence for blood sacrifice and burnt offerings. Okay? Yes, we express abhorrence for blood sacrifice and burnt offerings. That includes believing in a blood sacrifice to save you from your sin, because it is the same damn sin as my wicked forefathers were participating in. When they would kill an animal, when they would shed the blood of an unblemished lamb, claiming that it covered their sin, it never did. Because the Most High God never asked them to do that. Okay? Sakes, bro. I flow by way of the Spirit. Jeremiah 7:22. I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing commanded I them, saying, Obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people. Walk in all the ways that I have instructed of you, that it may be well unto you. But they chose not to hearken, nor incline their ear. Same as today, they ignore this truth. They dismiss this truth and continue walking in the counsels and evil imagination of their evil heart. Okay? And went backward and not forward. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me, nor inclined their ear, but hardened their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Therefore thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee. Kind of like today. How I'm instructed is imprinted upon my spirit. It's not like I cannot do this. Okay? I must do it, whether you listen or you fail to listen. Okay? One second. I'm going to flow my way of the Spirit. This is something I must do. Okay? You must speak my words to them, whether they listen or fail to listen. For they are rebellious. It is this way today. Okay? You people are committing the same transgression as my people were doing. Okay? Let's continue. They did worse than their fathers. So we speaking all of these words to you. All right? They ain't hearkening. All right? But thou shalt call unto them, but they will not answer thee. All right? It's crickets on my channel. Okay? But thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Most High their God, nor receiveth correction. Truth is perished, and is cut off from their mouth. All right? So it's time for you to cut off your hair and get prepared for your destruction. Okay? Because you're doing evil in His sight. You've been doing evil in His sight. All right? You have set up your abominations in the house which you call by His name. Okay? Your churches and all of these things. All right? And you're depending upon a blood sacrifice. The same transgression as my forefathers were doing. Okay? Depending upon a blood sacrifice. He never asked for blood sacrifices. Okay? I never spake to your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings and or sacrifices. All He wants is obedience. Okay? All He wants is obedience. Now, so all the prophets express an abhorrence for blood sacrifice. What is it, Father? I don't remember the key word for that. Something He's pressing upon my spirit. What is it? Is this it? No. 1 second, people. Let me see if I can find what He's putting on my spirit. Give me a second. Let's see. Sacrifice. Maybe that's a key word. Let me see. Wait. Okay. This is another connection. Alright. The prophets and the blood. Okay. The prophets sent by the Eternal One clearly spoke continually against this sacrificial blood cult and did not recognize the legitimacy of the Levites or their priesthood. The prophets absolutely contradicted the validity of any animal or human flesh and blood as a valuable action for atonement, much less one to be presented to the eternal Creator as His holy food or feast. Alright? So, I don't know what book this is from. Alright? But you can see it's chapter 4, the prophets and the blood. Alright? I did not write down, the book that it was from. Alright? And Father, if I can't find that other reference, that was a good one. Thank you for pressing that upon my spirit. There's another one though, but I don't remember what the key word is to it. Let's see, sacrifice. Let's see. 1 second. I'm not gonna give it too much longer, but I had it up the other day, and I don't think that I had went over it. I don't remember the key word to it either. Let's see. All right, so he'll have to put that back on my spirit later, cause I don't know what the key word is to bring that thing up. Let me see. I don't think it's been that long since I saved it, but I saved a lot of stuff recently. Second, people, work with me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring that back up later. It's just another confirmation, people. Just continued confirmation of the contradictions, against blood sacrifice. All right, we are not to depend upon a blood sacrifice for our sin. Okay, we are is about repentance. All right, is about amendment. Okay, not with blood. Okay, because that summons demons. All right, hold on. Let's see. This is from the Florentine Codex. Okay, animal sacrifice. All right. For they were wont to be soothsayers, to steal others' goods, to practice divination by means of knotted cords, to practice divination by strewing grains of dried maize, and they slew things before the devils, the demons, and they slew their sons. With them the debt was paid before carved stone, carved wood. Okay? And they were just, doing this in the name of God, but they were claiming that they were doing it to God to save them from their sins, but they were actually slaying these things before devils. They just psyched themselves out to believe that they were doing it for the true God. All right? They did not know the true God. They cut themselves off from knowing the true God. And that's why the true God allowed our destruction. Okay? And they ate the flesh of men. Thou hast waited long for these to turn from their evil lives. Okay? Yes, our God sent prophet after prophet after prophet after prophet. And our people were so wicked they began to kill the freaking prophets. Alright, they even handed the promised anointed one over to the worst of the heathen, the Romans, to have them torture and murder him. And then they wanted front row seats so that they could watch, so that they would be able to not be able to say that it never happened. Alright, they wanted to be able to be sure so that they could never say that it did not happen. Okay? That you can find confirmation of that in the view of the Hebrews. I'm not going that deep, people. I done already went way all over the place. Okay, tying all of this together. All right. He does not want blood sacrifice. He never did. All he wants is repentance. All right, and obedience. Okay, repentance and obedience. All right. The Messiah never taught anything about blood sacrifice. All right, it's extremely important to point out that the Messiah, whom the world calls Jesus, did not teach that he would be a blood sacrifice to absolve humanity of their sins. He taught that the blood sacrifice of bird, beast, or man would not absolve sin. He preached that such a sacrifice would increase the condemnation. He instead preached baptism of repentance for the remission of sin, and he taught people to thereafter steadfastly follow the true gospel, which is righteousness. All right? This is the true doctrine that Yahushua had taught to his disciples or apostles, okay? None of them, nor any of those they trained, preached that he would die on the cross to save humanity from their sin. All right? That doctrine came from devils, okay? The doctrine that Peter preached is recorded in the Clementine homilies, all right? The worst offender of preaching that Yahushua the Hamashiach died on the cross to save all humanity from their sins is the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. Okay? So it's Paul that these people run to justify their belief in a blood sacrifice. Okay? But it was Paul that preached this false doctrine often in his epistles. Okay? It was contrary to what all of the disciples were saying. The real disciples, the ones that were handpicked by the Messiah. The fact that Paul preached a doctrine contrary to that of Yahushua HaMashiach is proof that Paul could not have really been appointed to be an apostle by the Messiah or through the grace of the Most High Yah. He appointed himself. Okay? So you should be asking yourself who appointed him, because he appointed himself. All right? You will never break free of the deceptions of Satan if you continue to hold on to the lies that Satan has blanketed the entire world with. This is why the world was shrouded in darkness. There is nothing righteousness that can come from shedding blood, especially the blood of the innocent. Okay? So you depending upon his blood sacrifice for your redemption from your sin is utter blasphemy. Okay? You have to take it upon yourself to be like, look, I am sorry. I confess my transgressions wholeheartedly. You need to confess your transgressions. You need to own up to your iniquity. All right? And choose with your free agency to turn from it and begin to live a righteous life. Okay? Each one of the prophets in their turn expressed abhorrence for blood sacrifice and burnt offerings of the Levites and of the worship of Ashtaroth and Baal, and especially Moloch. And these prophets were despised by the ruling elite and were persecuted and killed. And by the 10th generation, the state of the holy nation was at the point of collapse. All right, there's been a lot of spiritual war against the seed of Israel, okay, to stamp out the holy seed. Okay, now we gotta go to verse 79 here. Alright, I'm gonna check my time too. Okay, we at 101. That's not too bad. Alright. Now, this is still chapter 12. That's loud. And at this time in Israel, there began to be much commotion when Eli died, and the spiritual condition of the people began to descend downward, because of all the effects of evil that was brought by Azazel. Okay, that's the chief devil. Okay, and it was in even Satan is afraid of Azazel. Okay, so Satan is not the chief devil. All right, Azazel is. All right, and Satan is afraid of him and his lair. All right, and also the other day I had mentioned something about Sinisol, the one of the places of torment. Okay, Sinisol, that is Sammihaza's place. That's Satan's place. Okay, so the worst place than Sinisol is Shekath, and that is ruled by Azazel. Okay, and Satan is afraid to go to Shekath. All right, now. No, I don't like, bro. I just let you. I had to let you know that, all right, because I had mentioned it the other day, so I wanted to plug that in. Now let me reread 79. And at this time in Israel, there began to be much commotion when Eli died, and the spiritual condition of the people began to descend downward because of all the effects of evil that was brought by Azazel. And it was in the 10th generation that many began to accept the worship of other gods than Anaki said. All right, because it was being forced. Okay, it began to be forced. All right, they like the wicked ones in Israel begin to persecute their brethren for not doing evil, okay, not participating in the evil. All right, it got so bad to where they begin killing them. They literally begin killing their brethren for not participating in the wickedness. Okay, now hold on. And it came to pass that in the night in the southern regions of Judah beyond Bethlehem, down toward the great sea, at the dwelling of Kazakh, where the ark of the covenant came to secretly rest, Mota the Lamb appeared to Kazakh. And he said, you must prepare your sons and their families to depart into the sea with the ark of the covenant, because they must come to a place where I will lead them, so they and my people can build a bulwark to preserve the vision of Israel. And I will lead them to a land that I will give to the remnant of Jacob for an everlasting inheritance. All right? So this particular land, all right, is going to be the land that's going to be given to us for an everlasting inheritance. All right? That's the land over here. All right? That's the land over here that's going to be given to us for an everlasting inheritance. That's why the dove returned over here. All right? Let's see. We got to go to how do I okay, let me see. Whew, goodness sakes. Oh, come on, bro. Okay. Now, this is chapter 1, verse 6. Okay? And it came to pass that the Lord clutched the tablet of Gabriel to his chest, and he loved it. And he said what seemed to be a reference from Isaiah chapter 11 and 31. And he said, I will stand with this tablet for it to be an ensign for my people Israel. And I will set my hand the second time to recover the remnant of my people, which shall be left from Babylon and from the world. And I will awaken them and gather them from the four quarters of the earth. And at this time the awakening and gathering has already commenced. And I shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four quarters of the earth. And this tablet of Gabriel in my hand is an ensign to the nations. It is even the book of the law, which is the straight and righteous pathway back to Eden. And the princes of Babylon will greatly fear this ensign, which is the banner of the elect. And they shall flee from it into their strongholds. And the princes of Babylon are the rulers of the nations. And this tablet is as a flame of the light of truth, which are the Father's lamps shown on the tablet, there being 4 in number, with 2 being founded upon the edge of eternity. And it will be a voice that will call out to the house of Israel to come home to their father, Anaki said, at long last. And Isaiah saw this day and sang a song, and he was made glad. Right? And so now I come here this day to add my words as preface to this work, as we begin to bring to light many truths about the long war against the law and upon the house of Israel. And I am here today to begin my instruction so you and all my people can come to understand the nature of this hard struggle that is followed down through the ages to encompass the righteous, and by understanding where these evil forces came from and how they function in their intentions, my beloved ones can better withstand the onslaught in these days of coming tribulations, and they can come to know what the law is and how to keep it. And Israel is called by a mighty hand, and they will respond resolutely to come to my aid in my burden for my father. And a knowledge of Anaki said will cover the earth as the waters cover the sea. All right, let's continue. And this tablet of the law has shown the light of truth 3 times since the beginning, and it will shine the last time in these days of tribulations, and on into the gathering of my people into Zion. And the 4 lamps show forth the times that the law in its purity has become known among men. And each time that the knowledge of the law has shone forth, it has been to bless the purposes of my Father in creation. Okay? I'm here to bless my Father. Alright? And to bring forth his purpose in creation. That's what I'm here to do. Okay? That's my purpose. That's my mission. All right? And I'm passionate about it. Now let's go to and we go now so you can be informed and look well at that which will present itself to you there, and be attentive for the sake of my servant Jacob, and the people of the covenant that I have made with our father Gabriel. Okay? And do not be overly dismayed at that which you learn here, and remember that in the end the righteous pathway back to Eden will prevail to triumph over the evil that you will see. Alright, and we gotta go down to, wow, hold on, something's happening outside, it's crazy. But I gotta go down to verse 64. Alright. Let's start in verse 63. And remember the day of instruction at Shabuah sets in motion forces that will lead to all the designs of evil coming to naught in a moment suddenly, as it did in the days of Noah. And be liberal in your application for the protections of the alliance of heaven, for they stand at the ready to help you to join with the spirits of life in creation with your feelings. And in this way, if you do all these things when I call, you can answer being led by my spirit. So now, little son, as the vision unfolds coming from the tablet of Gabriel, my people will receive vital information and instructions in how the war against Israel and the law has proceeded down through the ages. And in this way, the righteous in these days of tribulations will know better how to proceed. And importantly, how to keep the law for the sake of the righteous, finding rich purity for our souls. Okay? This is what it's all about. Alright? Rich purity for our souls. Okay? Not physical wealth, but spiritual wealth. Okay? And in this matter of the law, and the end time mission of my people Israel, many kinds of helps will become known, and a new understanding will abound all over the earth. And I thought to myself, no wonder the princes of Babylon fear the enzyme, and are so determined on the destruction of the law, and have so successfully curbed or eliminated it during the course of the earth. And they have thought to kill the law at its roots. You want to know how they did that? Getting you not to take accountability for your actions. Getting you to think that it's all about confessing and believing in a blood sacrifice. Alright, now we're going to go to chapter 2. Alright. We're going to begin in verse 5. And these events that you will see in the vision will reveal that important decisions by the intervention of agency have been made, and identities have been selected by both the righteous and the wicked, and their purposes, both for good and for ill, have been set in motion for the long duration of the earth, starting with these events now to be unfolded before you. And it is important for my people to learn how the conflict all began between the forces of light and the forces of darkness, so that my people Israel, through understanding and faith, can overcome to accomplish their vision, and the truth will empower them, and understanding will bring them wisdom. And when it is their time to perform their vital work for my Father, they can come prepared in all things, and they can rightfully anticipate the course that evil will take against them, and thus arise victorious. Okay? This why I speak about certain things as I'm led by way of the Spirit, before it ever even happens, or as it's happening, even though I don't know for sure who's been doing it. All right? I head it off by speaking by way of the Spirit. Okay? Now, we're done with this part. Okay? And we have to go over here. And we're dealing with all of the inhabitants of Shekath. All right? Again, this is Azazel's place. This is the lowest. This is the deepest pit. Okay? The most wicked, all right, and all the inhabitants of Shekath, who are the Dekadershi, and the wicked of all humanity of the ages, are of a small stature, okay, the same as hidden stones of the earth, and they are not all encompassing like the mountains, oceans, rivers, and all the Erikadashi. Alright, the Erikadashi is the holy watchers. Alright, the Dekadershi is the fallen watchers. Okay? And all who dwell in Shekath are afraid of the Erikadashi, and all were terrified of Jeshurun. That's the law of righteousness, the eternal law, and the power of the eternal law, the power of righteousness, the power of holiness, all right? And they are angry at Shabuah, okay? Living a righteous lifestyle, refraining from shedding blood, refraining from ingesting flesh and blood, okay? Keeping the commandments, okay? Walking in his statutes, all right, which informs Jeshurun, which is the eternal law of divine love, all right. And all this is because Jeshurun is the straight pathway back into the presence of my Father, and it is the way and the only way. Divine love is the only way, all right? And it has been so since ancient times, and the way has been guarded since ancient times by the powerful forces of the alliance of heaven, which includes the righteous of all ages. Okay? Now the reason the inhabitants of Shekath hate Shabuah, hate righteousness, all right, and we can see it. I can see it in my day-to-day life, people. All right, why am I receiving so much hate when I'm here out of truth and love and light? I'm here to shine light. I'm here to give you the truth by way of the Spirit. So why do you hate me? Why am I so hated? Why is righteousness so hated? Why is divine love so hated? Okay? It's going to give you the reason. Now, the reason the inhabitants of Sheketh hate Shabuah, hate righteousness, is because it joins together the righteous and the Arakodashi in the bonds of rich affection, and Shabuah is a holy force that they cannot overcome. And the light which shines forth from the flame of truth is a formidable force that reveals just how unclean and despicable the wicked are, and how alien they are to the creations of Motsa, which are composed of the very being of Anakised, who is the great holy most high one, because he is loving kindness. And with these words I gained a confident composure. Okay? And the Lord continued, and he said, I have brought you these instructions by way of introduction, so my people can know and come to realize how intensely the forces of evil are against Israel and the law of the holy straight path, and their intensity and cunning with great deceptions will only grow during tribulation times. And unless my people are obedient to all I have brought to them by my spirit and through the threats they face will only grow to be more and more effective against them. Okay, it reached its culmination with its economic system of bondage that was enforced upon us and all nations. Okay, but now we're at the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen.
But, bottom line is we chose not to do that. We chose to break the eternal laws. Therefore, the Great Spirit removed protection from us and allowed the worst of the heathen to come destroy us and our land. Okay? For a period of time. But you need to understand, there are empires before you Greeks. Okay? So there was...
Hold on.
Therefore, the Great Spirit removed protection from us and allowed the worst of the heathen to come destroy us and our land.
Okay, so that's what has to be established, people. You got to understand why our God allowed this great evil upon the earth. Okay, it was because of us. All right, but it wasn't to continue. All right, hold on. 1 second. Transgression. Let's see. 1 second, people. Okay. Alright, so Daniel 9:11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse was poured out upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. That was the reason you nations got to come over here and destroy us. Alright? However, then I acknowledged my sin to you, and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and he forgave the guilt of my sin. Okay? Part of my atonement is to multiply spiritually. Okay? Because I have applied his living word to my life, I'm instructed to give it. Okay? Those are his real ones. His real ones is the ones that's been obedient and being obedient. Okay? And it's us whom he's going to deliver. Okay? Now we're about to deal with you nations.
Okay, for a period of time. But you need to understand, there are empires before you Greeks.
In this period of time, hold on. This period of time that he was allotting for the nations to come destroy us. This is the book of Enoch. Many of you think that all your transgressions shall not be taken account of. You seriously think that you are going to be absolved of your sins because of your belief in a blood sacrifice. Okay? You are sadly mistaken. Okay? You sinners say, all our transgressions shall not be taken account of and be recorded. But all of your transgressions shall be recorded daily. And be assured by me that light and darkness, day and night, behold all your transgressions. Be not impious in your thoughts, lie not, surrender not the word of uprightness, lie not against the word of the holy and the mighty one, glorify not your idols, for all your lying and all your impiety is not for righteousness, but for a great crime. Okay? All you nations, it's time for you to humble yourself and accept the truth about colonization and how you never restored the people who were colonized. Okay? You think that it's okay that you never restored us, that you never cared about our restoration. You are sadly mistaken. Okay? Our God only allowed this for a period of time. Okay? Yeah, we're not listening to AI. We don't follow AI. Why won't it bring up the dang scripture? That's weird. I mean, I know what they doing. Oh, they want to give their own interpretation. Stuff's crazy around here, bro. Luke 21:24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We are Jerusalem. We've been trodden down by the Gentiles. Now, yesterday, my last video, I think it was, I dropped yesterday, video number 6, we went over in great detail who the Gentile nations are, how they stem from the lineage of Japheth. Okay? We are from the lineage of Shem. Okay? And the Gentiles have been dwelling in the tents of Shem, just wiping their ass all over us. Okay? Able to partake of our plunder. Alright? This whole entire time, our God's been allowing it. Okay? Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Your time is fulfilled because his spirit has returned to us. Okay? Oh, goodness sakes, bro. Is this 3 Nephi? Nephi 16. Boasting against the natural branches. This is a whole Gentile from the seed of Japheth. These people are from the seed of Japheth. Okay? Not from the seed of Shem. Alright, but you think you can take Shem's records and do what you please with it. Alright? You think it's your records now. Alright, 1 second. Alright. Now, this already happened in verse 10, okay? This is why we have his oracles now. That's why it came back to us. Alright? beginning in verse 10. And thus commandeth the Father, that I should say unto you, at that day when the Gentiles shall sin against my gospel, because you polluted our records, you injected yourselves, you opened the book of the law, and you sought to paint the likenesses of yourselves. Okay, you changed who the biblical people were. You then boasted against the natural branches and all these things. All right, and you have rejected the fullness of his gospel, and you inserted your own dang doctrines. Okay, and you enforce your doctrines by way of the sword. All right, and you have been lifted up in the pride of your hearts above all nations and above all the people of the whole earth. Okay. It's been a Eurocentric worldview that's been enforced over the whole earth. All right. This whole system was built upon all manner of lyings and deceits and mischiefs and all manner of hypocrisy and murders and priestcrafts and whoredoms and of secret abominations. And if the Most High our God would allow you to do all these things, yet you reject the fullness of his gospel, behold, said the Father, he brung the fullness of his gospel from among you, because you had it. You had the fullness of his gospel, and he allowed you to pollute and pervert the gospel and spread your own version by way of the sword, okay, which was biblical prophecy fulfilled against us. All right. Now, verse 11. And then I will remember my covenant, which I made unto my people, O house of Israel, and I will bring my gospel unto them. This is why we have his oracles. We have been resurrected in the land of our captivity. We know who we are now, and his spirit is residing with us. We have his oracles. All right, and he is going to show unto us, O house of Israel, that the Gentiles who are in power right now, okay, because of their economic system of bondage, our Father is going to show to us that the Gentiles shall not have power over us, but that he will remember his covenant unto us, O house of Israel, and we will come into the knowledge of the fullness of his gospel. That's why we have his oracles. Now, if you Gentiles will humble yourselves and repent and return unto him, saith the Father, behold, you shall be numbered among his people, O house of Israel. Okay? And you will be shielded from the disobedient, stiff-necked Israelites, or Jacobites rather, all right, who want to operate out of brute force. Okay, as we read in the book of Remembrance, how there's two different minds in Israel. Okay, one of holiness, righteousness, and one of wickedness. Okay, now the holy ones of us are being obedient, and we have the fruits of the Spirit. You shall know us by our fruit. Not based upon what people say about us, not based upon surface level, superficial opinions and ideologies of mortal men, not based upon the ideology of this world, but by the fruit of the Spirit. Okay? Divine love, compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, patience, okay, chastity, long suffering, okay, joy, okay. Yes, I have joy of spirit, okay. These are the fruits of the Spirit that you should be looking for the one that you choose to eat from, okay? Because anytime you tune into a video that's teaching you from the scripture, you are eating, okay? You're eating, all right? That's what it is. You're feeding your spirit. So you want to make sure that you're feeding your spirit the purest fruit possible. And the only way that you can be assured that you are eating the purest fruit possible is to listen to those that have the purest fruit possible. Okay? Which is divine love. All right? Compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy. All right? Long suffering, because they are self sacrificing. All right? That way you know of a surety that we are not in it for selfish gain. So long suffering is an important fruit of the Spirit that needs to be upon the children of light. Okay? That the righteous Gentiles should be seeking. All right? You want to look for the ones who you can verify have the fruit of the Spirit of long suffering. Okay? Now, so you Gentiles that are righteous, and you choose to cleave unto us, you're going to be shielded. All right, you're not going to have to worry about the evil Jacobites doing anything to you. You're going to be with us. Okay? However, you wicked Gentiles, if you refuse to turn unto him and hearken unto his voice that's being spoken through his people at this time, then he ain't gonna stop your destruction. He ain't gonna save you from being destroyed. Okay? So let's see. Verily, verily, I say unto you, thus as the Father instructed me, that I should give unto this people this land for their inheritance. Okay? And then the words of the prophet Isaiah shall be fulfilled, which say, Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with a voice together they will sing. For they shall see eye to eye, when the Lord shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy. Sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. This is coming for us, okay? The Lord has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations. How is he making bare his holy arm? Because you are going to know us by our fruit. We are different from most people who are led by their carnal desires. We're not led of our carnal desires. We are led of his Spirit. So therefore it's going to become evidently crystal clear the difference of us from all the charlatans that you've had for centuries. Okay? So that way he is making bare his holy arm in eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Okay? Now, let me see what time we're at. An hour 37. And I think we're getting ready to get into the nation, so I'm going to start up another video for that. 1 second.
You know, there are empires.
Okay, yes. There were empires before this, and this would be the final video. And, you know, because, I mean, I guess I could, but, bro, I need to take a break. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this because I need to use the restroom and all of that. And I need to bring up some slides. And I don't want to, you know, take up time, you know, with you guys. You know, like, I need to be able to communicate with the Father and bring up what he wants me to show you dealing with this. Okay, so I shall be right back, and this should be the final video that we'll be doing of this project. Okay, shalom.